Hello there. Um, I figure it's been a while since I made a video, so I'm going to try to make a video on evolution, the genome. There's some things that we have to get straight on mutations, whether or not they can do what evolution claims. In order to get a living organism to transform, say, to go from an organism that lives in water to live on land, or for one that lives on land to live in the water, or for one that lives on land to be able to fly. The reality is that you need billions of changes to the genome, viable changes, without side effects in that direction that you want the organism to go, or that the organism is needing to go according to evolution, based on environment, based on pressure, environmental pressures, and necessity. So what needs to happen is that you need billions of successive changes that are beneficial without side effects, that complement each other. So you have unrelated changes to the genome that have to be free of side effects and complementary to each other. Now you can see, if you have half a mind, you can see that the whole idea of evolution is rubbish. But let's think it through. I mean, we already know that proteins are impossible to come about by chance. They're hundreds of digits long, or digits of amino acids long. They're just utterly impossible to begin with. But just based on the claim of evolution, that evolution is change to the genome. See how ridiculous it is, how absurd it is. And any scientist that wants to say that evolution happens should be ashamed of himself. You need to be ashamed of yourself for claiming such an absurd, unscientific proposal. So we have to have changes happen to the genome. They have to be complementary to each other. They're unrelated changes, random changes that are selected. They're selected and they have to be complementary to each other. So every additional change on down the line has to be complementary to every other previous change and the rest of the existing genome. But what you're going to have to do is to transform the genome in order to make wings, in order to make feathers, in order to make fur or fins or whatever, or to make feet. This is all has to be uniform, symmetrical changes to the genome, to the organism. It's symmetrical because there's both sides of every organism has two sides, and they're symmetrical. They got the right side, the left side. They both have to be uniform. They have to be symmetrical, the same side, unless one side happens to become larger through selection. But what has to happen is the whole thing has to transform. Like if it's going to fly, it has to be symmetrical. It can't be, you know, not uniform on both sides. And the same thing, if you swim, it's got to be symmetrical. Basically, everything you do has got to be symmetrical. Just in rare circumstances, it's not. But you basically have to transform the entire genome with changes that are viable and complementary to each other. So each one basically a perfect transformation. Each selected chain has to be perfect as far as physically speaking is concerned. And the problem that you have is that you can hardly get a single beneficial change without side effects. I mean, it's very, very, very rare. And they almost always have side effects, detrimental side effects. So it's not happening. Not only are you not getting the changes that you need, the odds of complementary changes are astronomical, so high that you don't even want to get into it. But what you basically need, you need like a 50-50 thing in order to get past the entropy. Now the genome deals with entropy on its own by its inherent design, if you will, where it corrects the errors. It's able to correct the errors to the genome, has backup information, and it can correct errors as it goes along. And once in a while an error slips through, and that's where the claim is that it causes transformations. It causes a reprogramming of the entire genome to make it lighter, faster, stronger, whichever way it happens to need to be going. Well, we know that variation happens all the time. We know that you can get a stronger animal, you can get a lighter animal, you can get a bird with a larger or smaller beak, pointed, narrow. You can get all kinds of changes or variations within that particular kind of organism. But the thing here is that those changes happen without mutations. It's not mutations that gives a bigger beak. It's not mutations that cause the variations. You're getting all kind of variation, but it's not from mutation. The variation's coming from the genome itself, because it's the genome that offers the variations. And those variations are selected according to the need, to what the need is. It's not even mutation that's causing the variations. Of the ring species, you talk about ring species, yeah, to get ring species, it's causing them to change different colors, different shapes, sizes, but it's the genome that's offering those changes. It's not mutations. Mutations is the mark that you have on your face. That's a mutation. You know, you're not. Once in a while, you'll get mutation. You'll get green eyes, blue eyes, blonde hair. It's a mutation. But even then, it's still arguable whether it was a mistake or if it's a variation that was offered by the genome itself. You know, the problem is you're not getting any viable changes. You're not getting any viable mutations, and you need billions of them to cause a transformation for something to go from water gills to air breathing, or from air breathing to go back into the water, or for something on land to fly. You need millions, if not billions, of changes, because you're talking about a progressive transformation. So all the while, those changes are not just one change, it's a progressive change. It's a whole bunch of progressive changes to the thing. And you're talking about entirely different abilities. You're talking about different kind of vision. You're talking about different kind of hearing. You're talking about all kind of things that requires information that's not in the original genome. So you need information that's not there, and you have no way of getting it, because the changes that are selected are not going to give you that uniform transformation, that uniform programming that's going to change one kind of animal into another. And you need at least, because if you're getting mutations going one way that are selected, you're going to get changes going the other way that are selected, because both of them will be selected regardless. So what you need to have is a greater than 50% of the changes that you want in the direction that you need to go. And the problem is you're not getting 50%, you're not getting over 50%, you're not getting 40%, you're not getting 30%, you're not getting 20%, you're not getting 10% viable changes, you're not getting 5%, you're not getting 1%. You're getting a fraction of a percent of supposedly viable changes without side effects that are complementary. In reality, you're getting 0%. You're getting 0% unrelated changes that are complementary to the other changes and to the rest of the genome. So you're not getting any evolution. You're getting zero evolution. And variation doesn't need mutations to get variations. So there's zero mutations, viable, valid mutations, and there's zero evolution taking place. So these secular scientists are a disgrace to the human race, disgrace to the intelligence of the human mind. You need to stop teaching that nonsense. It's rubbish. It needs to be thrown out of every educational institution there is. It's nonsense. I would like to see, where's Mensa? Where's Mensa to Well, where's all these brilliant people with all these high IQs? Why can't they see how ludicrous evolution is? Why do I have to be the only one that can see that it's totally impossible, that there's zero evolution taking place? Am I that smart? Am I that much smarter than you? I don't think so. I think that you're not even trying, you're not even looking. You're not even wanting to know what the truth is. You secular scientists and teachers need to get your act together, because it's rubbish. And you're making me think that I'm smart. You're making me think that I have a high IQ. You're making me think that I'm intelligent. It's just nonsense.